Hey guys, welcome back to the London is Blue YouTube channel. This is just one clip from our Everton pod review. Admittedly, not the most fun match, but if you want to hear the entire podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review and a 5-star rating. How about that? That's where you'll find the bulk of our content, all 500 billion episodes that we've done. But stay here. We have plenty of clips coming on YouTube. Thank you very much for your time.
I wonder about the formation. So we actually saw Kai go out right instead of Mason. If you want to talk about like little tweaks and changes, like I don't know how well Kai does because he doesn't provide any width. I think Chelsea have really relied on our ability to stretch teams wide, Simon, this season. And we just weren't able to pull their outside backs or center backs out of position at all. I had forgotten that Timo Werner was playing in the first half. Olivier Giroud, the only thing he was doing was apparently stepping on Yerry Mina's toes accidentally in this match. I mean, it was not that kind of fluid, connected football. Everton absolutely disjointed us, and we couldn't find a way through.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of gave it some thought about what Lampard could have done to make it work better, and perhaps one of the things he should have considered, rather than moving Havertz out wide, was to perhaps play your 2-foot right backs, to have Azpilicueta and Reece James, and keep Havertz in the middle where he's more comfortable, and play him instead of Kovacic on the right for three. I think that would have been better balance and perhaps given Chelsea a better chance to keep those crosses coming in from, but because Azpilicueta could have overlapped Reece James, even though his legs aren't quite what they used to be. You'd have had a two-pronged right-hand side, whereas Havertz just, I said in my tweets, I don't know whether you saw it, it was like a golfer who'd misread the pace of the green. Like every pass he hit was short. I mean, there was a very early one actually where Reece James was bombing on. He's calling for it to have a shot, and Havertz plays it too soft, and gives, I think it was Holgate, the opportunity to get over and block Reece James's shot. So that's what I was sort of thinking tactically, and maybe Lampard could have changed it earlier. I thought Gilmour perhaps could have come in a bit earlier. He's someone that can thread the needle a little bit more than Kovacic, and perhaps move sort of Kante to the right. That was another option. But one point I wanted to make that I thought of as well, this was the first time Chelsea played in a stadium with opposition fans. Now we saw against Leeds the galvanising effect it had on the Chelsea players. They were fantastic. That 2,000 that were roaring Chelsea on. But likewise, you do get the feeling that the Everton players were galvanised by the 2,000 fans inside Goodison Park. And they also had, I think, a bit of an effect on the referee, because he seemed to be giving a lot of the 50-50s, a lot of the classic, almost European cut tie sort of antics of flopping over the merest whiff of the challenge. And the roars of the home fans in anger at every one of those incidents seemed to always bring out the whistle, and that helped disrupt Chelsea's momentum.
Yeah, it was really by hook or by crook if you're looking at Everton's performance, Brandon. I mean, like, to me, every time I felt like we were getting into the game, there was either a really stout Everton tackle, or there was a huge Everton flop, or there was some coming together off the ball that was conspicuous and that we never got a good camera angle on over here, which kind of just makes you wonder what the hell is going on. They certainly tried to disrupt the rhythm that Chelsea were building, and it seems like every year, that there's some trend on how to attack Chelsea. I think this tactical fouling, flopping thing is going to be what you see opponents do the remainder of this year, especially opponents who don't have attacking talent to come and try and hurt us on their own. This was a very Barcelona-esque type of or City-esque, whatever, whoever Pep coaches really. I'm looking at here. It was kind of a similar tactical approach. I mean, I remember Alon and Richarlison. It was like within a minute of each other, there was like the N'Golo Kante finger across the nose hit the deck, right, or just a slight tap on a toe hit the deck. Like that does screw with your momentum. It does screw with your your attitude in the match, and it was unfortunate because I wouldn't have equated Carlo's teams with necessarily that tactic, especially with Duncan Ferguson on the on their coaching staff. I would have thought it'd been more of a fist fight than a flop, but it certainly disrupted us.
Well, I think that's it. Everton completely disjointed us. I was fuming over Richarlison's performance yesterday, especially because we even talked about how good of a player he can be. And just he reverted back to kind of old tactics and old things he used to do. And it was obviously very frustrating. I'd mentioned the Yermina on the floor. Olivier Giroud didn't know what had happened. And it's like, look, if someone steps on your foot with metal studs, it hurts. I've been there. All right. I wore metal studs. Like, I received it. But just the way they went down and stayed down and like needed medical treatment for everything, it slows the game down, it disjoints it, and the Chelsea players really got rattled by it. And maybe this is one of the flaws of having a younger team is they don't have the maturity to get past it, to the point where, even when Mason Mount absolutely pushed the center back into Jordan Pickford and he went down. So this is a tactic. I've done it before, actually, in my career. I stay down, so the referee has to come check on me just so I can yell at the referee for what just happened. And that is what Jordan Pickford did. But it was just very disjointed. We weren't able to get in our flow. And then, obviously, we talked about Mendy, who's the one who gave away the penalty. And Squawka, look, you got to call a spade, right? We talked about how good Edouard has been compared to Kepa and all these stats and things like that. Well, Edouard Mendy has now given away more penalties for Chelsea in the Premier League than Kepa Arrizabalaga. So, hey, Kepa, you got one back on him, all right? So there's that. But I don't really think there's much. Dan put in the script, BB, what should Mendy have done? Not that. Stayed home. Like, pretty simple.